Very good afternoon to your students. I am Rajkumar Gupta, working as an assistant professor in the Department of MCA in IIT College of Engineering, Greater Noida. Dear students, today we will study about the deadlock in the operating system. It's a very important topic which is comes in your examination, and it's a very important topic for a interview purpose as well. So today we will discuss the topic deadlock in operating systems. Firstly, the contents are here that we will discuss what is the resource and the deadlock introduction, what may be the conditions which may arise in deadlock, and deadlock detection mean to say how to detect a deadlock, and last topic is deadlock avoidance mean to say how to avoid a deadlock. So firstly, my students, we will study about a resource. As we all know, uh, like a process. As I have told you in my last video, the process is a program which is in execution state. If the process is executing, then the execution of that process will be with the help of some particular resource. So students, so firstly you should clear what is the resource, and after that we will talk about the deadlock and its definition. So I have mentioned here that resources. Resource means by which the process is being executed. Some examples are given here like printer, by which anyone can print something. Tape drive, table. Processes need access to resources in reasonable order. Mean to say, process will always need a resource. Without using a particular resource, it is not possible to execute a particular process. Another thing is given here. A process holds resource A and requests resource B. At the same time, another process holds B and requests A. Both are blocked and remain so. Now, so deadlock occurs. So there may be some conditions by which deadlock may be occur. So first is processes are granted exclusive access to the devices. We refer to these devices generally as a resource. First thing is that a preemptive resource which can be preempt, mean to say in that particular thing the resource may switch from one process to another process. Non-preemptive resource mean to say it will cause process to fail, mean to say the resource cannot be preempt. Next thing is that introduction about the deadlock. So first thing is that what is the deadlock? Firstly, I will tell you real life example by which you people can understand the deadlock easily. So what is the deadlock? I am taking the example. Suppose you are a customer and you visit to the bank, and you are asking to the whatever the clerk is there. You are asking to the clerk that I want to open an account. The clerk said, if you will submit rupees 1000, then I will open your account. But the customer says, if you will open the account and after that I will submit 1000 rupees in my account. In that case, both customer and the clerk is waiting for an event, but there will be no result. Mean to say, if if two or more than two processes are waiting for an event, are waiting for an event, it means there will be a deadlock. In another way, we can simply say two or more than two processes want to share the same resource at the same resource at the same time. Then there may be the condition of the deadlock. So I have given the formal definition. A set of processes is deadlocked if each process in the set is waiting for an event that only another process in the set can cause. Usually, the event is released of a currently held resource. It means to say, I want to say something about the deadlock again. Deadlock means to say if a process, if there, suppose there are two processes are there and one resource is there. Process A said I want to access the resource. Process B said I want to access the resource. In that case, neither process A nor process B will be able to gain the resource. In that case, the deadlock condition may be. As I have told you in my real life example, the processes are waiting for an event, but event doesn't happen. So it may be the condition of the deadlock, right? Which there will be the some conditions regarding the deadlock. So first condition is mutual exclusion condition. So students, what will be the in mutual exclusion condition? Suppose there is a process which is in a critical section and holding a particular resource. At that time, another process want to share that particular resource which is held by this process. So it is not possible. In that case, when that particular process have to wait for the some time until that resource will not be free by the currently using process. So that may be there may be the mutual exclusion condition. Mean to say, it refers the requirement that only one process or thread can access a particular resource or critical section of the code at any given time. This is essential to prevent conflicts, data corruption, and race conditions when multiple processes or threads are executing currently. Mutual exclusion ensures that concurrent processes cannot interface with each other when accessing the shared resource. Students, the meaning is that if two processes are there, two processes, I am talking about only two processes, but in case of deadlock, there may be two or more than two processes. One process is holding a resource, another process wants to share that particular resource, and at that time, another third process comes and asks for the same resource. Deadlock may arise. There should not be any priority. Suppose two processes, two or more than two processes are there. Suppose the process which is having a low priority is holding the resource. At same time, another process comes and that process is having higher priority. So it is not possible to release that particular resource and assign to the higher priority process. So in that case, deadlock cannot be. Deadlock means simple to say the processes which is holding some resource, suppose which is holding the process that is holding a particular resource and ask for another resource for executing, and at the same time another process holding the same resource on another resource and ask for that particular resource for the execution. In that case, that lock condition may arise. There should not be. It's a very important point that we have to remember. In that law, there will not be any higher priority or whatever the priority that we are using for executing a particular process will not be. Now, next condition is hold and wait condition. As I have told you, hold and wait condition. A process, suppose we are having a process like this is. This is a diagram that explains explains in a very clear way to you people the hold and wait condition. What is it? In this diagram, we are having a process. The name of that particular process is P1, and two resources are assigned here: resource R1 and resource R2. Now, the process P1 is holding the resource R1 and it is requesting the resource R2, and it may be that R2 is given to the another process. It may be, but I am talking about two single process which is holding the resource R1 and wait for R2 for its execution. Mean to say, you can simply understand P1 is holding R1 and wait for R2. hold and wait. Okay, so hold one resource is holded by P1 and another resource for the another resource it is waiting for its execution. If it will get R2, then it will execute. So mean to say the definition as I have cleared hold and wait. Process P1 is holding a particular resource and waiting for some other resource for its execution. So it is called wait, hold and wait condition. Next, no preemptive condition. No preemptive. So firstly, we have to understand preemption and non-preemption. Both the things we will, if we will understand, then this condition will be clear to all the students. So what is the preemption and what is the no preemption? Preemption means, suppose uh, I am talking about two the processes and the resources. Suppose there are two processes. Process A is holding a particular resource. Process A is holding a particular resource R1. Process P1 is holding the resource R1. At after some time, and another process, that is process P2, comes and asks for the resource R1. Now, how is it possible to provide that resource to to this process, because that resource is already given to the process P1? In that case, there may be two conditions. If the process which is having the higher priority. So, in case of higher priority, the resource is given to the last entered process. Mean to say, another case may be there. Suppose we are having two processes, process A and process B, and both processes want to share the same resource at the same time. So there may be one thing with the resource. Suppose resource process A wants 10 minutes for its execution, and process 2 wants 20 minutes for its execution. So the resource is given for time slot is 5 minutes. 5 minutes process is given. 5 minute resource is given to the process one, and again the resource will switch. The resource will switch to the uh, next next process to execute and execute it 5 minutes, and again this will come to the first process. Mean to say, the CPU is switching. The CPU is switching for executing the process 1 to process 2. So this is called the preemption. Preemption means to say the resource is shared uh, between the process for a given particular time. But I am talking about the no preemption condition. No preemption condition means the resource cannot be shared. It is not possible to share a resource between the processes. There may be only one condition. Suppose the resource R is executing the process P. When the resource executes that process, and after that it will be free, then it can be given to another process. But during the execution, it is not possible to provide this resource to another process. The resource cannot be forcibly taken away from a process. They can only be released voluntarily. Mean to say, if the process executes properly with the help of resource, after that after that the process will release the resource. Okay, but before the execution, it is not possible. Before the execution, as I had told, it is not possible to execute a particular process. Next condition is circular wait condition. There exists a circular chain of two or more than two processes, each waiting for a resource held by the next process in the chain. Basically, I am talking about the circular wave condition at the word seems circular. Circular means in a circle form. As I have told you in my hold and wait condition, one is hold and waiting for another. But in circular condition, one process which is holding some resource wait for another process having the having some resource, and wait for the next resource for its execution. So it will be a chain. It will be basically chain. In chain, the process which is having some resources and also waiting for another resources is called circular wait condition. Dear students, you can easily understand with the help of a diagram that that diagram will clear the condition. What is the circular wait diagram? We are having only two processes with the two resources. The process name are P1 and P2, right? And the resources are resource 1 and resource 2. So process P1, if we are talking about the process P1, as I have given the name, so you people can easily understand. P1 having resource 1 requesting P2 having resource 2 requesting P1. So you are seeing here there becomes a chain. There becomes a chain. How P1 is having the resource 1. P1 having resource 1, right? And at the same time resource 1 is requesting by P2, which is having resource 2 and also requesting by P1. So we are seeing here the if process P1 having the resource 1 and resource 2, then it will completely execute, or in another word, process P2 which is having resource 2 and may have, if process P2 have the resource 1, then it will completely execute. But here it is not possible for both the processes because P1 requires both the resource, that is resource 1 and resource 2 for its execution. In the same way, process P2 is also required for the resource 2 and resource 1. So there will be the condition of circular wave condition, and there will be the deadlock condition also because neither process P1 neither nor process P2 are going to completely execute. So dear students, these are the four conditions that I have discussed with you all. First condition was mutual exclusion, second condition was hold and wait condition, third condition circular wait condition. So and the fourth condition that I have discussed you. So the point is that how to detect a deadlock, right? After detection the deadlock may be avoided. So there are some methods by which the deadlock can be detected. So I am going to explain you in a very short way so that you people can understand with the help of this, right? So what is resource allocation graph? The system maintains a data structure called a resource allocation graph to track resource allocation and the resource request relationship. Periodic mean to say resource allocation graph. The resource allocation graph means uh, we prepared a particular graph of processes and resources, right? The processes which are having some resources and they may also wait for some resources, and there will be according to this we will prepare a particular graph by which we can check how many processes are in deadlock state, or it is in deadlock completely process completely diagram is in deadlock state or not. So next is periodic checking. Periodically, when a process requests a resource, the system checks the resource allocation graph for any cycle. If a cycle is detected in the graph, it indicates the possibility of deadlock. Mean to say, for a periodically checking may be possible. Mean to say, after some time, periodically checking can be done with the help of processes and resources. Next thing is that uh, determining deadlock processes. The system identifies the processes involved in cycle and marks them as potential deadlock victims. Resolving deadlock. Once a deadlock is detected, the system can take various actions to resolve it. Common deadlock resolution strategy include killing process involving in the deadlock, releasing resources held by one or more processes to break the cycle. Uh, these are some methods that I have discussed here. The processes by which the deadlock can be created. Kill that. This is the strategy. This is the strategy. Whatever the process which are going to which are going to create a deadlock in a system. So one thing is that to kill those processes by which deadlock cannot be occur. Next thing is that releasing resources held by the one or more processes to break the cycle. Right. So it is possible to the release the resources if they are having such type of conditions. Next, deadlock avoidance. Dear students, if the deadlock is detected, then there are some methods by which deadlock can be avoided. The most important algorithm is banker algorithm. So what is done in banker algorithm? You people must be aware about the banker algorithm. It's a very important algorithm. Basically, this algorithm told us about the safe state. How many processes are there? Which is the what are the available resources and what is our need, right? So with the help of these things, we can use the particular banker algorithm. It's a very important algorithm. Safe state very uh, important plays a very important role with this. With the help of this, if all the processes are in safe state, then there will not be deadlock, right? If the processes are not in safe state, then it will not be it will not possible to have a this condition. So another thing is the priority based scheduling. With the help of priorities, the deadlock can be avoided. Suppose we are having different process. As I have told you, if the high priority process comes, then the resource to assign that process. So there will be the possibility of to avoid the deadlock. Resource ordering with the help of this deadlock can be avoided, and the dynamic resource allocation with the help of this deadlock can be avoided. So these are some deadlock avoidance algorithms by which it can be avoided. So I think you people are able to understand. Thank you and thank you once again.